Hi, everyone. Hope you're all having a great weekend so far. The stock market on Friday continued to melt up higher as the NASDAQ closed higher for the eighth session in a row. Volume was heavier in the session before, so that's good, but the continuing pattern that just never ends. It just never, ever, ever ends. But volume was once again below average, and for an option expiration date, that's kind of odd, but nothing really surprises me anymore. But the fact that we just can't rally on huge volume tells me that we're always going to be susceptible. God, I can't say that word. My apologies. We're always going to be or have to be aware of a severe potential short-term pullback at any moment. It's just if there's volume, if you saw the volume that was back here when we were starting to sell off, or anytime we sell off on the upside, and we had the volume on the sell-offs that we're having now on the rally, things would be a lot more clearly convincing that, oh, yeah, higher prices are to come. But for now, we'll see. But, we got a lot of positive technical indicators. We have TSV completely trending higher, not anywhere near previous overbought levels. The same thing can be said with MACD. And money stream and relative strength are plowing higher, making new highs on the technical indicators. So that's overall bullish. I mean, there's just nothing bad about that. NYSE shows a similar pattern. Relative strength, kind of ignore that. But the money stream, you can see that it's up at the old previous highs. MACD is trending higher. TSV is trending higher. And obviously that's going to spill over to the S&P 500. Money streams hitting new highs. MACD and TSV, they're both trending higher. So overall, everywhere, we have a lot of decent, solid patterns. I got to get rid of the volume on this one. But you can see on the Russell 2000, same thing. TSV trending higher. MACD trending higher. Relative strength line isn't leading. The NASDAQ's the leading index, but look at the money stream just breaking out to new highs and higher and higher and highs. So everything looks good in our indexes right now. The only technical indicator that this also has Wilder's RSI in the middle. You can see that it's trending higher, nowhere near overbought. And while the stochastics oscillators are getting up there, they're not quite overbought yet. I mean, they are overbought, but I mean, these things can stay overbought for quite some time and even get more overbought than from the current levels they are currently at the Russell 2000. This NASDAQ, same similar situation. They're at overbought levels, but these things can stay overbought for quite some time, and we can rally higher, as you see back here in June, as you saw in early November, late October. So there's nothing to be like, oh, well, this indicator's overbought, and that means we have to pull back. No, we don't. And just because the crowd's extremely bullish, like that's one thing that can constantly is bothering me. Once again, the II survey, the bulls I think are at 5 months highs, and the bears are at what, all-time lows at 14%. It's just some very, very, very odd sentiment whenever we're hitting new highs, and normally you'd want to see it the complete other way, but sentiment hasn't mattered at all, and as long as there's a form of QE going around the world, I guess it just doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know what to say. So while everybody thinks that we can pull back, our oscillators say that we don't have to yet, and technically, there is no reason, but we are up a lot in a short amount of time. So if we do pull back this upcoming week, don't be surprised. But for right now, everything looks good. Getting into individual stocks, I want to go through the sells first. Speculative side, Wi-Fi was a full sell, closing at 796. Our final cut loss levels were below those 810 levels after it decided to go ahead and sell off on heavier volume here, kind of messing up the pattern. Then as BOP started to teeter-totter down, I was for sure raising my stop to 810. Then it's definitely 810 right here. And as you can see, intraday on the 20th, it decided to break that and close 796. But if you're not out of Wi-Fi yet, this is a full out signal. And once again, the use of sell stops, why they're important and why it matters in a low volume melt up tape overall, because you get these kind of moves, these insane big deep moves. Look at this chart pattern. Anywhere ever do you ever see a move like that, and then all of a sudden you get a move like that? Well, in a liquid market, it shouldn't be that surprising. So once again, this is why you keep stops. My final sell stop was just below these lows here on 12.8, 12.9. So it would have been what? 58.51. So as soon as it crossed 58.51, eyes out, and obviously it bounced back up, but still the sell stops prevent worse damage. Basically, the biggest ones were here and then here, and so the lows would have been around 62. So I was out of almost all of it by 62, and the final sell stop was here. So overall, UEIC, I'm wrong also. I'm totally wrong. Final sell stops was here. 12.16, 12.17. I knew that sounded wrong. So it would have been 59.70 was our final sell stop. So 59.70 was our final sell stop. So we gained $2.20 by using those intraday sell stops. So I can't recommend them enough. You need to use them. And then that goes to two other stocks that were 50% sells. So on this date here back in January, I was totally taken out of AFAM. But on an end-of-day basis, AFAM has not given a full sell signal yet, so I'm still tracking it for everyone. The close below the 50-day moving average in such a convincing fashion, though, while we're in an uptrending market, that's a 50% sell. It's not 25%, it's not 20%, it's 50% because there's too many strong-acting stocks to stick around in a stock like this. So AFAM, 50% sell, and then VUSI, speculative stock. Man, this was hot. That was beautiful. I had a choice between this one and this one, okay? So do I buy this one or do I buy this one? I got a pocket pivot point signal on this one. I got to buy this one. So before we see how the other one would have acted, which technically gave me the first signal back here, passed on it. Second signal here, passed on it. Third signal there, passed on it because really I don't have much cash. I only wanted one speculative position. How has VUSI done? Not good. And now it's closing below the 20-day moving average, losing its green bop for the second day in a row. That's a goner for me. So that's a 50% sell signal. What has the other stock done that I passed on during that time? Oh, that's a good start. Ooh, it's even better. Now I feel like an idiot. So in 3 days, while I decided to go with VUSI, CRMD decides to rally 40%. You will see CRMD flagged. Whenever you go to check the new long positions, you'll see that there's a stocks on watch up today. You'll see CRMD flagged on that day, that day, that day. So my sincerest apologies. I picked this one, 50% sell. Speaking of a stock that continues to screw around with me, MDVN. It got me back here, then it got me here, then it got me here again, then it got me here. I think I tried it again and it got me there. And then I think I wanted to try here again, and it got me. And then all of a sudden I noticed it's not up. MDVN, when I go to check it to put in my orders, because I'm already ready to put in orders, I see it's trading at 103. And that's below the low a day of 106 and puts it actually below its 50-day moving average, which is wherever at 104. So once again, MDVN, if I would have gone long, would have screwed me with a morning gap down. So that would have been the second time as it did that to me back here whenever I wanted to take it as a long signal. And I did not wake up early enough in the morning, which I normally do, but I did not that day and ended up going long MDVN. So now here's my thing. I'm not taking it long. If you want to take MDVN long, good luck. But it's got earnings on the 25th, which to me totally negates it with me seeing it at 103 after hours. I don't care if that's a bad print, and then by the time that the morning comes around, it's back in 110. I'm done with MDVN, but I want to give it to you guys ahead of earnings because if it does gap up above the December highs and it's doing it on large volume, it is a technical viable gap up play. I just probably won't be involved because MDVN has just, yeah, I've had enough. And then our other real new long signal is RCPT. RCPT re-entered itself. Actually, I don't think it's ever left the perfect speculator scan, but it re-entered my personal, watch list right here on the 17th as it retook the 50-day moving average, but it did so on lower volume. I don't believe I did. So if you go to look on the stocks on watch up today, you will see that it is flagged in there, i.e. bolded in there. So I did bold it this day whenever it took the 17th. But I didn't take a position. We're already heavily invested. But now since UEIC, Wi-Fi, AFAM, VUSI, and all the other partial sells lately, we do have some cash available. And RCPT is now bouncing off, confirming the 50-day moving average break, bouncing off the 50-day moving average on above average volume. Perfect speculator scan stock. It's gone from like 93 mutual funds invested in the stock 7 quarters ago to like 382 now. So we're dealing with the quality, company here overall. I mean, to be in my perfect speculator scan, you're doing something right. So that's the one new long position. It's a 2.5% long position. Also GIMO. Broke below the 10-day moving average and heavier volume. I decided to set sell stops just below the intraday low a day, 1981. A really strong stock will immediately reverse. Well, this one almost did, but it had to first dip intraday more, so it knocked me out of 20% of my position. I need and must put that 20% position right back on because it was a beautiful intraday reversal with price action. Volume was well above average, and more importantly, BOP increased from the day before, which is just ultimate confirmation. All right, everyone. I'll see you in the chat room on Monday.